All right, folks, what's up? What's up? It's Eric. It is January the 14th. Yep, 2024. And today we're going to be talking about horizontal levels. So we're going to be looking at price levels, price lines, and I'm primarily looking at the ones that I currently have on my chart, and I want to see whether or not I want to redo them. So technically, I had started this video already, and then I went back and I restarted it. So reason is because as I have this video up here, if I record it, then I have to process it, and then it takes a long time for it to upload and everything like that. It'll make for a nice well manicured video and that kind of thing. But if I live stream it, then I don't have to do any editing. It's done, one and done. That's it. So I'll try to go back and put some chapters in so that you can just scroll to the chapter that you want to review. Because a lot of what I do is rambling. I sit here at the computer. I do a lot of scripting, a lot of coding. A lot of this I just do by myself. So I'm here either way. And so you don't have to sit with me while I'm here and maybe ramble or such. But meanwhile, there will be points where I get some stuff accomplished, please believe. So what I'm gonna go ahead and start is what I was talking about in terms of the price levels. So the price levels that I have on my screen, I made this some time ago. You see these levels here? These levels come up, and if we're on the right hand side of the chart, all the way over here, you can see that the price levels that were created by these trend lines here actually gets it gets responded to. So you see there, it was responded to there, it was responded to there, it cut through that, but it used that as resistance. It came back over here, used it as support several times. And I mean, several times, right? So you'd say, Eric, why don't you just use this level and just leave it alone? Good point. Good point. And maybe I should, but you see this zone here. It's not, not just one price. It's not just 400, it's not, what is that? 475.45. It's not that one. It's also 475.45, 475.06, 47. So there's several prices here, but all together they really coalesce and make this pretty decent price zone through here. I just want to see if I can update that to make it better. Anyway, I may not be able to. Sometimes, the simplest thing that you do works the best. I know in talking with one of my buddy traders, when we were first trading and we were maybe a little bit, I don't want to say naive, but we just kind of took things simpler for what they were. Did a little bit better trading, and then later on, when you start adding some more pieces to the puzzle and you're like, oh, well, I got to be a complex trader. I got to, make this hard because it's supposed to be hard because it's very profitable. And so then you make it so hard that, or much more complex than it needs to be, and your profitability goes down. So anyway, I may be making this more complex than it has to be, but nevertheless, I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so I'd already opened up the support and demand indicator, which is this one. And I really need to start dating my indicators. But the indicator has all this stuff. I had a lot with alerts there. So if you see my chart some of the times during the daytime market hours when I'm trading or when I'm looking at the charts, you'll see a lot of alerts and stuff pop up. It's because I had alerts turned on, and every single time when a price ticked into this zone, whether it was on my 1 minute chart, whether it was on a 15-second chart or a 15 tick chart, as it ticked into the zones, and I used to have them on all of these charts, but whenever it ticked into the zone, then it would give me an alert, and it was just way too many alerts. See, look at this. You see this this line right here? It's faint, and I can't tap into it, but you see this green line here? When price came down and was looking for an area of demand, it kind of hit and touched right on that line, right? And then came back up. Now, like I said, what I'd like to do is click on this and see where that level started. The majority of them I can click on, and some of them I just can't seem to click on it unless it's on the, yeah, I can't seem to click on them. So there it is. Okay. Now why I couldn't click on that before, I don't know. All right, but you see, when you have it set up like this, when you have it set up as a trend line, when it's drawing the price level based on the trend line, it gives you the begin date, begin time, right? So 12/27, 10:35, it goes back that far. 12/27. Let me see if I do this. Which one was it? Because then it will keep the scale. All right, so going over. Looks like it started somewhere right in here, right? So this area right here is responsible for that line that we saw from Friday. This area right here. You see it started right there, which is not really a great looking area for you to consider that would be some level of support, right? But nevertheless it is. And then that's the advantage of using the the trend line, is that it'll show you what the beginning date, the beginning time is, and it can help you when you're going back and doing your technical analysis and all that kind of stuff as well. But what I'm setting out to do today is I'm going to take it from a horizontal line and from a trend line, and I'm going to make it a horizontal line. So for the horizontal line, so for the trend line, you see that it takes 2 data points, starting point and an ending point. Okay, so but for the horizontal line, it only takes 1 point. All right, so it's only asking for the price. Okay, so with that being said, and it looks like it's going to draw the line probably from the left-hand side of the screen to the right-hand side of the screen. So I'm just going to go ahead and code that up right now, and then we'll see what it looks like. And then, like I said, the usability may be a little bit different, and you know, it may not be that big a deal, but I think I want to go and I want to adjust some of these conditions so we get different price levels. So let's see what we get. Bow, bow, bow. All right. Okay. All right, so we have the labels already. That's fine. The horizontal line we're going to use for the value of that, we're going to use value 2 because it was calculated as a linear regression of the slope. And mid bar, rest of length. No, we're going to use value 1. Okay. Price line, horizontal line dot create. Yep. And then we'll do price. I think that's all we really need. Price level dot. There's alert, which we don't want. Auto show, I don't even know what that is. Count, not sure. ID, label, lock, name, persist, points, price, show labels. We could use that, but let's see what show labels do. The question is, what kind of labels are offered? To show the labels. References to the drawing object label. Yeah, but what label is that? Let's just see. We're going to do label and then we're going to do show labels. Got to make it true. And then price L dot show labels equals true. And then this support line we can do without Support line we're doing without. We can change the color, that's fine. But we need to change it of the price level, not the trend line. Price level. Drawing objects, we need to draw the price level. Okay, and then we also have the labels and then support. Price level alert is going to be false. Verify that. Where are we at? Label, price, label, horizontal line. I create. All right. End. What are you doing? Price level. Yep. Begin. Don't have an end. There's the end. What is going on with the? Should be a Boolean. That should be true, false. Label. References the drawing object label for the line. What is that? Font. Price.label.font equals what? What are our options? I mean, we really don't need to change the font of the label. I mean, for me, that's change the font, change whether it's bold or italic or, yeah, I'm not really interested in any of that. So we'll just get rid of that if that's all we're doing is changing the characteristics of the label. All right, so we've verified it. We'll go ahead and get it out of the way. It is called liquidity zone with volume, and that's what we're going to change it to. However, start here. Liquidity zone with volume is to show me. And there we go. Okay. Okay. All right, so it should be pretty much the same level as we had before, but it should go from the left-hand side of the screen to the right-hand side of the screen. And right now, I'm not seeing it. It should come, this line here should be the same level, so it should come all the way from left to right. So let's see if it's on. And we didn't change any of the conditions, so again, I just kind of copied and pasted this over from my other script. So let me clean this up, make sure that nothing is out of whack and causing. All right, so it is locked. Labels true if open. Label, lock the label. We're going to drawing objects, draw them all. Okay, and then begin end. Okay, so we have the linear regression, the slope, the value. If the volume is greater than volume 50 and value 2 is equal to 0, then we're going to create the label. We're going to assign the horizontal line to value 1, the linear regression value. We're going to show the label, and then if based on this criteria, we're going to change the color of the label. That's fine. Then we're going to draw the label on the screen, draw the label on the screen, and then we're going to draw the line on the screen. So I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong. All right, so maybe it's already on here and just not seeing it. So let's get off the support and demand. Okay, there are no other horizontal lines on here, so it must. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Is this? These aren't it. Okay, these are lines that I've already drawn. Let me, because again, I think the way the support and demand that I had on there, they're super thick. So I believe that the lines that I'm going to get right now are going to be super thin. And you know what? I don't even have a lock on here. I locked the label. Okay, I probably took away the lock of the trend line when I removed all the trend line stuff. So we need to do price level dot lock. Make sure that we can lock all of our lines. Okay, that's not one. That's not one. It'll tell you which one is one. Let me get rid of this. Okay. When I get rid of it, nothing happens. All right. That's what happens when you copy and paste stuff, and that's why it's not that great idea to really copy and paste a lot of stuff, because 9 times out of 10 you may miss something that's a key component. All right, so if ticks is greater than 50 and value 2 is greater than 0, which is a linear regression midbar, resting length. Label. It might be in this horizontal line, because like I said, I have not done a horizontal line yet, but it seems super simple. Drawing objects.add. You make sure that you draw the objects. Yep. And as far as the horizontal line, you just use the value that you want to use. myline.color.style. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get rid of the labels, and I'm gonna get rid of all the label stuff. Make sure that's not being a source of contention here. Doesn't look like it is. What? All right, let's do this. We're just gonna make it simple, make sure we're not missing anything. So we're gonna say, all right, so what is this level here? This level is 478.59. So an easy way that you can kind of back check, back code, make sure that you do it, especially if you're doing something new that you haven't done before and you don't know for sure that it's the right way to do it. Start with something simple and then add the complexity layers on top of it, right? Instead of starting with something complex already put together and trying to modify and adjust it. Go back to the simple piece. So we're just going to say we're going to draw a horizontal line at the level of 478.52. So 478.52, we're just going to say price level dot let's see, level equals horizontal line dot create for 78.52. Then we're going to drawing objects dot add price level. All right, and then we'll mute out all this stuff. Verify it. No errors. All right, so at 478.52, it should have drawn a line right there, and it did not. So okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. So I just had to turn it back on. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can color our lines red, and that'll give us an idea if. What? Now that's new. Do y'all see that? Right? So This is the line that was created by our script, right? You click on it and it says horizontal line liquidity zone with volume, right? But it's locked. No, I didn't lock it. Okay, I didn't lock it. And so every time I click on it and I try to move it, it just makes another iteration, right? Which is crazy. So I think what it's doing is it's moving it, and then the script is running again and it's drawing it back in the same place. It moves it, script is running again, and it draws back in the same place. So, all right, we're gonna delete those, and then we'll come back here, and then we'll do price level dot lock equals true. All right, and then we'll add it back. Got rid of it altogether. Okay, so there it is. So we locked it. Okay, so now that it's locked, now it won't move and it won't make duplications or anything like that. All right, very good. All right, so now let's see about changing that color, and then we'll come back and we'll add those other components onto it. So we're gonna do price level dot color equals color dot red. Okay, so now that line is red. Whenever it comes up, it'll be red. Okay, so now let's take this, which was here, and we're going to copy that, and we're going to add that back to our code, like so. Okay, and it seemed to like that okay too. We still need to adjust the parameters of it though. So one of the parameters is weight. So we'll come down here, we'll do price level dot weight, and we'll make it equal to 4. So it makes it a thick line. But now we should have, this line should be somewhat semi-solid. Semi-solid. So I'm gonna make this like, so what I did with the other one, why those lines look so thick, I made it like a higher number, so it made it like that, so it makes it almost look like a zone, right? All right, and then you go back, and after you make it look like a zone, then, like I said, with your colors, you can use from ARGB. RGB is red, green, blue. A is alpha. So A is like the transparency component, right? So if this is 255, then that's a completely solid, opaque color. If this is closer to 0, then it's less opacity. If I've got that correct. So when I have these lines here, when I have these lines here, these combinations here, it makes it kind of like a see-through line, right? But these lines did not fire off. Open is greater than 200 period moving average. You know why? Because it's not based on anything. It's not based on a time point. There is no open to compare it to, really. I think we could. It would have to be like an update feature though. Yeah, I'm liking the trend line situation even better now, because this is just going to plot a horizontal line. Let me see. And again, it's going to change them all. If I have multiple lines on the chart, if I make some type of update statement that says that the line needs to be above the 200 period moving average in order for the line to be red, then it's going to change all the ones that are above to red, which may not be a bad thing either. But I think I was making them specifically such that lines that we had at the top of the move would come in red, lines that we might have had at the bottom of a move would come in green. And regardless if you're above or below that those price levels, I'd want to know that. And I mean, all the time, resistance turns support, support turns resistance. So you might just need to know the level of the line. But I want to know when I'm in the screen, without looking over to the left-hand side of the screen right away, I want to know, as I'm approaching this level, was it previous support or was it previous resistance? Without guessing, and two, without assuming just because we're coming down to it and it's a level of liquidity that it will be a level of support. So yeah, because I think here I'll have to do right. So here I have to use like the price and say if the it's just a double representing the price value of the line. I have to say if the price of the line is above the 200 period moving average, then, or is below the 200 period moving average, then it'd be green or red. So watch this. So let's try this. Let's say if price level dot what is it, value price is greater than SA 200 period moving average, then price level dot color equals color dot green. All right, see, change it to green. All right, and then you can do color dot, I'll just change it to whatever color I see right there, and I'm not sure what color that is, but we'll do color dot from ARGB, and I'll have to do the EL system on top of that. 2076, and you can see how it changes to like a translucent type color. EL system. All right, so a lot more solid there though. Let's see, maybe 20, maybe the zero end is more opaque end, and the closer to 250 is new. Is it's translucent. That didn't change either one of them. Let's see, price is over the 200 period moving average, and the price, that one, that EL system drawn, that color from ARGB. I want to mute this out, anything dealing with color. So the only thing that we have left is this color here. Let's change this number to, I don't know, 150. That color changed some. We're going to change this one to 250. It changed a lot, but I want to see it get clear. And it's not doing it. So something is going on. All right, so yeah, so A is the alpha of the transparency of the color structure, where 0 is fully transparent and 255 is fully opaque. Well, I mean, I'm pretty close to 0 with 10, and it still looks pretty solid. So let's go 1. Well, good golly, Miss Molly. I mean, that, you know, from 1 to 10 is huge. All right, so let's go back to whatever we saw there, which was 76 and 187. Sometimes you got to trust what you know, right? All right, so we made it 187. Now this gets transparent, right? So I make it to 2. It gets a little bit darker. 8, a little darker yet. All right, we're just gonna leave it 2. Okay, it's funky looking green, but it is what it is. All right. So again, that is if the price is if the price is over. So what I'm going to try to do because what I'm thinking is we want to set criteria to get these levels and then draw a line once we get the level. So let's do this. Let's try swing high. So we're going to say, so we're already creating the let's make a swing high. We'll say value 3 equals swing high of instance price strength length. Instance price strength length. Okay, that's value 3, which is swing high. And so we're going to make that our level, which is value 3. Gonna make that the level. And then we're going to draw it if we get that swing high. Swing high would have to be tell us how many bars back we have it. So let's do if value 3 is greater than 0, then value 4 equals value 3, else value 4 equals value 4 a bar go, and then we'll say if value 4 is different than value 4 of a bar go, then begin all this. End. Okay, so that worked, but again, how usable is this? All right, so let's go back here. So we said if the price is above the 200 period moving average, at that point we're going to color it that greenish color. But if it's below the 200 period moving average at that point, it's obviously a solid blue. So let's make it, we'll say else price level dot color equals, I don't know what the code is for blue, but oh, there's some codes there. There's some codes right here, color class. All right, so we'll use this blue, but we'll use a translucent version. So our color is el system.drawing.color. We'll say 1 0 0. No red, no green, and a lot of blue. el system.drawing.color. Oh, that from ARGB. Yeah, sorry. Is it on there? It looks like it's on there, but it's like, it's this right here. You see those? That's green. That's not blue. I know my eyes are bad, but they're not that bad. They're not that bad. All right. Uh, 30? There we go. Okay. So at least that's there. Where's the one at the top? Wasn't there? Oh, no, I think that was just our practice one. So now there are not any other None of them came up as the other color. None of them. Let's expand the chart. 50 days back. See what we get. Okay, so 50 days back, we're trying to say that all these prices yeah, this is why I don't think I'll like this. Okay, so there's our other colors, right? So they are in the background there, but they're just, for some reason now 2 is not wanting to be very visible. Okay, there we go. Hello. All right. Okay, so that does kind of work, right? So and that's the only thing about this compared to the trend line. Like I said, whereas the trend line will only show up over here. Well, since we're to the very left-hand side of the chart, nothing will show up right here. So the trend line will show from here onward. It will not show all the way to the left or all the way to the right unless you tell it to do that. So I think I do like the trend line for that reason. Plus, once you click on this, it just shows you the price. It doesn't show you when the price was initiated. So there's a lot more value in using the trend line than it is using this horizontal line. And yeah, again, I can't tell when these lines initiated to be able to really determine whether or not they are more a level of support or a level of resistance. Makes for an interesting chart. Again, we haven't added other components to make it more usable though. So, and I don't know how come, well, this is the difference. I was gonna say, I don't know how come we didn't get it to work a little bit higher up, but higher up, we said in order for it to do any of this, we said that these values had to be met, and the ticks, the volume had to be greater than 50. So I don't know if that's the case. Now, down here, we said that there had to be a new swing high. So all this should be really be resistance for the most part. But here we said there had to be a new swing high. So if that was the case, then, and we want to also like cross-reference that with volume, we'd also say, and ticks is like greater than, V50. So 50 periods of the volume, and then verify that. That'll clean it up a lot. And wow. See what it left us with. It left us with some values that were kind of really respected though. But again, I like to know when they started, right? Because based on this, you can't tell when they started. You can't tell if it started here or if it started back there somewhere and it just responded here. So, no, this won't work. This won't work. We're going to go back to what we had before. And then just adjust it. So, back to the drawing board. Support and demand. We're going to copy all that. We're going to move that back to where we were. It's all good. We're going to get rid of everything that's turned off. We're going to keep these support line references, and I think I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna mix it up. So I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna make it at least one part of this chart. I'm gonna make it in reference to resistance zones, and then the other part we're going to make it for support zones. Okay, so for resistance zones, we'll say, again, like in the other one, we'll have a value 3, which is going to equal swing high of instance price strength. We'll go 15 and length, 16 price strength length, and then we'll say if value 3 equals then value 4 equals value 3, else value 4 equals value 4 bar ago. Okay, if value 4 is different than value 4 of a bar ago, then condition 1 equals true, else condition 1 equals false. All right, so we're just saying that we found a new swing high based on criteria. Yeah. Okay. All right, that many bars ago. Okay, and that is 15 bars worth of a swing high. Okay. So if ticks are greater than 50 and value 2 is equal to 0, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get this old one, this liquidity one off of here. We'll go back and re-add the support and demand. Okay, so this is the current support and demand, right? There are price trend lines where you can see the beginning and the end, right? So that's perfect. That's what we want. And it's not really doing a lot of kicking through this level, through these areas. So we're going to, like I said, now it's updated with if there's a swing high. So now we got the volume, got the value 2, and condition 1. So now we have a new swing high. Okay, so we're gonna make that red. What's the red color code? Red color code is, well, RGBs, right? So it's red. So we'll just assume that we'll use a lot of red, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. All right, and then we'll get rid of the rest of it. Actually, since we're doing this for the high, we don't even need the rest of it, because we make another one for low. Okay, I think it likes that. All right. All right. Okay, so let's shut off the old support and demand. We're going to turn on liquidity with volume, liquidity zones, price zones, and not really getting anything. No levels are coming up. So that might be too exclusive. I'm gonna take value 2 out altogether. So value 2 is referencing the linear regression, the slope. So we're gonna take this out altogether. Might come and look at it later. Okay, so this is what we get. These are all potential resistance zones, and I mean, definitely create it right there. And that's the thing, like I said, with the horizontal line, you couldn't look back at the chart and determine that. You could not look back and see where it started from. But now you can go back and see where it started from. It's like, oh yeah, well, that's definitely some resistance there. And then as you move over to the chart, you can see where it hits more and more. These are not just resistance levels though. Like I said, these are resistance levels with increased volume. Oh, and one thing that I did say that I wanted to make the correction on is that we need to have a time constraint, right? So I try not to use after hours. I do pay attention to it, but I try not to use after hours metrics and conditions for my scripts, just because it's so much of the wild, wild west, and there's low liquidity, and it will give you very erroneous results. So I'm going to take that out. So we're going to say that condition 2 equals that the time has to be greater than 0935 and less than 1550 in order for us to use this. Okay, so we got condition 2 there, so we're just going to go back here and then also say and condition 2. Gotta spell it right. Got to spell it right. And we gotta put all of our variables in. I'm trying to get too fast for this thing now. It's gonna slow me down. It's gonna pull me back in. All right, so we still kept that one. That was during market hours, and where exactly did that come from? Because it looks like it's kind of within that range there. It came from right here. So would you consider this to be a valid resistance zone? I mean, okay, I see why. I was gonna say it is, but the problem why we didn't get it in here is because obviously they both meet the criteria for being a swing high, but I imagine that this one in here did not have, you see, this one didn't have the volume. So the volume wasn't higher than the 50 period moving average of the volume. This one in here had the volume just barely greater than the, no, okay, it's over the 50. The blue line is a 50 period moving average. The yellow line is a 6 period moving average. So, I mean, and that's why I qualified, right? So based on what we said, that's why I qualified. Now, this should not be a swing high. Wait a minute. Let me see here. Nope. I think it was based on here. Because when you create your trend line, you have to use it. You have to create it originating and ending at certain date time points. And it's created by, you create your date time points based on bar date time. Based on what? How many bars ago? This many bars ago. How do you find out how many bars ago it is? When you're using a swing high, you have to at least go back the number of, or the length of the swing high. So when we did swing high of 15 bars, we have to backtrack this 15 bars back. So when we put that 15 in there, and then do we need to change value 1? Linear regression, we'll leave that. All right. All right, but the linear regression of that, okay, it's actually going to do the linear regression of the current bar when you get in here. Couple things going on. In order to find a swing high, you have to have so many bars on one side, so many bars on the other side. Now, the number that we're using, I think, is 15. So it's probably showing it out here, right? Or probably here where the support shows up. So it takes this many bars for this swing high to show up, to be relevant, this swing high. And so at this point here on this bar is when we are calculating the linear regression, right? It's calculating linear regression on every single bar. So now that we get right here and we find out that we did have a new swing high, now we're saying, okay, draw a line. And it's going to draw a line with this information here, with the linear regression that was created from this bar. We actually need the high of this bar. If we want to use linear regression of these 4 bars preceding it, fine. You know, we could do that. And you know what? That's what we'll do. So it's probably going to put the line somewhere is right in here, or maybe somewhere right in here, which is like the linear regression of these 4 bars. But it won't be down here, right? All right, so let's do that. All right, so linear regression of the mid bar of resting length. The mid bar of what? How many bars ago? Swing high bars ago. Swing high was how many? 15. Boom. Okay. And that's value 1. Okay. Yep. Boom. Bingo. Told you, put it right in there. Okay, so that's good. That's adequate. And then this here, this support here, wait a minute. This label shouldn't show up way out here. This label should show up way back here. So we need to move the label. We need to move it back at least 15 bars. However, I feel like that's going to move it to right here. So I feel like this line, and it was, right? So there's 2 lines here. Yeah, you see those lines superimposed? And that's how you know when you've got, that's how you know when you got something. You know that this line, this level is significant. And like I said, I didn't use the high. I used the linear regression of the 4 bars, including and preceding it. And it drew my line right here. Now, where did this move to? Exactly to that same level of that linear regression, not of the high, but of the linear regression, right? So, and like I say, you can see that this line is a little bit darker. I mean, they're the exact same level. So I don't think I can break it up. Let me see. Yeah, now you're starting to see it as I change the scale. Now do you see it? Okay, so there's the first line. I don't know why it won't let me. Okay, there's the first line. And then this is the second line. All right. So perfectly through it? Nah, maybe not. But I mean, close enough for you to make some money or something? Probably so. All right. Take that as a short. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to readjust that label. We need to move it 15 bars to the left. Label that create bar date time of what? 15 bars ago. Okay. So now you see this support shows up right here where this one starts at, where this second line starts at. See, it shows up right there. Okay, and then also we would then have this one here show its support starting right here. All right, so let's zoom back out, go back to the beginning, and you see back at the beginning on 1/12, January the 12th, we also had another swing high that created a new line for us. Are we also accounting for volume here now? Yeah, we're still accounting for volume. We're accounting for the condition that the time is, within market hours. and also the condition that condition 2, time, and then condition 1 is what? We got a new swing high. Okay, so our criteria is increased volume, qualified swing high during market hours. Pretty simple, yet, you know, and again, we're looking for the simple stuff, I guess. All right, so but like I said, I think the next piece is to see if we can narrow down what are the most effective lines. You see how dark this line is, though? That means that it was run over more than one time, right? And every time it gets hit, it gets darkened, right? And so this line is darker than the rest of this area. So is this line, right? This line here. And as such, this line, did it start there? Yeah, it started here. It was definitely respected there. It was respected there. Then it cut through, back through, and then it was respected here, cut through. Then it turned resistance. Then as we move on to the right-hand side of the chart, it went just about up to it during close of that day. Held it a little bit that next day, rode that line as support, used it as a reversal area on, what was that, the 11th? Yeah. So, and then on the top side, you see how, like I said, those lines a little bit darker. It rode right up to it on the, what's that, the 10th or so? Yeah, it rode right up to it on the 10th. I mean, tipped it on the 11th and then broke through and back down on the 12th. However, it broke through it during pre-market hours. So, and pre-market hours looks like it kind of tried to hang with after hours pre-market of the prior couple days. So, all right. Yeah, my other script. Let's take a look at the other script, which was the this support and demand. So we're going to superimpose one on the other. Okay, and then we're going to take this one off. Okay, so you see support and demand on the screen. It's got that same line right there. It's got that same line right there. And it doesn't have this line. It doesn't have the line that was running through here. But it does have some of the other same lines. So obviously, the one that I just made is a little bit more active. So, how do we trim the fat? Where are all those other lines coming from? This one came from here. I mean, but that's valid though. Right, this one came from, I think, in here. Which is valid too, you know. It was resistance, and then it turned support right here, right? So I think after so many days, though, probably need to have something in my indicator where I can just turn off so many days. I have to figure that out. There's got to be a way that I can say, all right, if the date is within 5 days of the current date, then execute this. I'm gonna try that one thing. We're gonna add that to the repertoire for tonight. It'll be one more thing that I can add to my list of accomplishments, and then I'm gonna cut it loose. So date. We can use last calc date, so last calculated date, and I think we can subtract from that. We probably have to use the time span class. This is where it gets complicated. So let's just try the basic way first. We're gonna make a third condition, and we're gonna say that the date has got to be greater than the last calculated date minus 5. I don't know. Well, then we have to. Well, usually if I do something wrong with assigning a variable to assigning a value to a variable that needs to be of a certain class, it'll kick it back. Okay, so that did nothing for it. So condition 3, if date must be. The thing about these conditions though is once they get calculated, they don't change. Date is less than last calculated date minus 5. I'm thinking that's got to be greater anyway. Well, that did do something because it took stuff off the screen. Yeah, it definitely took some stuff off the screen. So 5 days from the 14th, we'll call that the 9th. This is the 8th. Here's the 9th. And on the 9th, maybe there was just nothing that qualified as having a high volume with a swing high. So maybe that worked. So we're going to go back 7 days. All right, none of the rest of this popped up, so I'm thinking maybe that doesn't work. Let's go back 10 days. 10 days. 10 days. Yep, I think it worked. Yeah, we have to remember too, we're crossing over weekends and stuff like that. Okay, so that works. Okay, so just to make this script a little nicer, which is something that we've been working on the last week or so as well. Rest length. What is rest length? That is the length of the linear regression value. Do I really need to change that? We're not even using it on this script right now. Not even, we use it here. Yeah, we did use the regression value. So let's change that to regression length. Okay, and then, like I said, something that we've been working on the last week or so is just making display names and data tips to make sure that we know what we're looking at when we're actually on the chart. So we'll go here, and then we'll do that. Display name equals regression length, and then we'll do tooltip equals length regression check. and then we'll do time span. We'll call it time span, or yeah, time span. Time span. And we'll start off with it just saying 10. So it'll be checking for 10 days, and if it's beyond 10 days, then it won't give us those extra lines. That way it helps us clear up the chart. Display name equals time span. Okay, and then tooltip equals length of days, number, length in days to display price levels. Okay. All right. Now we just need to change the regression length. This guy here, change it to regression length. We got to do that a couple times. Make sure that all our variables are changed. And we don't need to change it there because that's already okay. Good. All right, so now when we come here, we can just double click on that, click edit the study, and then if we want to change this to only 2 days worth of days, then we'll put that. We'll only get 2 days. Only get 2 days. That's the 10th. It should stop at the 10th. Now we still have those days. So all right, well, it didn't change that. Let me make sure I put it in the right place on the script. I didn't even address it. Last calc date minus length. I don't even know what I called it. Time span. The other time span. The other time span. The other time span. There we go. All right. Verify that. So now we'll only have 2 days worth. Oh, and then there was one other thing that I did on the last one was that I said that if we leave 0 in there, then it will give us all of them. All right, so it'll plot them all. So condition 2. If time span equals 0, then condition 3 equals true. Else okay. If time span equals 0, else if, why am I putting a comma in here? Else if time span is greater than 0, then else if, then condition 3 equals, yeah, that's it. Else if date, that a date is greater than less, then condition 3 equals true. All right, that should work. Okay, so right now we have it set up to where it's only on like a day or 2 days. We can move it to 7 days, and then it'll show for 7 days. It did for 1, 2 days. I think we had to go back as many as 10 days for it to show anything on those subsequent days, because that was traversing the weekend. Yep. And then so we got that for 10 days. Now if we move that to 0, now we should have this show up for everything. Should show up for, yeah, everything. All right, very good, very good, very good. All right. I got to remember this kind of nomenclature here, though, because I just kind of came up with it, but it seemed to work. It's really daisy chaining some if-then statements, so we want to remember that. Okay. Condition to control script from the chart. All right, got that. Now, since that looks as good as it's going to look for right now, I'll come back and do something with it later. We'll make a supply indicator with green ones. But let's see if we can come up with any quick script for Friday. Okay, so it's trending while ranging, almost. I mean, heavy pullbacks and overlap. Maybe I better make it for everything. All right. All right, so last script of the night. Show me SPY. 5 minutes. Okay, I mean, I do enough with the scripts, with the moving under the moving averages. I really kind of want to do something with moving crossovers. Just something simple with moving crossover, moving average crossover with so much volume within the last so many bars. Let's do that. Let's try this. We're gonna do. Last time I didn't even use these conditions a lot right here, but we're gonna say if SA15 crosses over SA25, then plot one low. All right, I'm gonna make this false just so we don't get a whole bunch of stuff in here. And then we're going to here, SPY, show me SPY 111.4, 114. Okay, not sure what color that's giving us, so let's make it green. Turn you off there, good buddy. Turn you off. Okay, so there's our greens. We also need to have a condition that it's over, the time is not after hours. So if time is greater than 09:35 and time is less than 15:50, and that. Okay, so now we get our greens. So this script, just that quick, just pretty much just shows us where the 15 period moving average crosses over the 25 period moving average. So on this bar, now we want to see which ones are valid to take an entry. I'd say let's not use one that's say large bullish bar. So I want to say that if it's a bull, then it's got to be a short bull. So now I think we're gonna go. We're gonna let's do that, and then we'll come and we'll put it here. And then we'll go equals SA 15 crosses over SA 25. I'll verify that. Now we need to turn these guys back on. And who else do I have hanging out there? This red one. We're going to disable you, good buddy. All right. So that's that. And then we'll come back here and we'll say that it's got to be a bear or a bull, and range is less than range 7. So it's a shorter bull. If it's a bull, it's a shorter bull. So we'll start there, because I don't think that we want long bulls, right? So here, could have took that. Obviously you're going to have some risk. So we got to look at ones that have decent amount of risk and then determine what else is going on. All right. But that one there is well over, it's over the 9, at least the exponential 9 period moving average, that black line. The yellow is over the green, right? And that's the 15 over the 25, which we talked about. This is over the 200 period moving average, so we'll keep that in mind. And let's make that a little bit bigger so it stands out as we zoom out. It stands out as we zoom out. Okay, edit. We're just gonna make it large. Okay, big old green circle there. You can see them big old green circles, can't you? Can't you see them big old green circles? All right. So that one looks good. I mean, right? All right. And then the one for Friday, there's meat there, right? Especially if you're a scalper or something like that. If you see that signal and there's that much more movement, I mean, if there's that much more movement, then great. But if you see and there's that much more movement, then you still can make some money with that. So let's see if it fails us any other time. It seemed to work here, except for, like I said, we have that huge pullback there. But we had this move up prior to the pullback, right? Yeah, we had this move up prior to the pullback. You just set your stop loss. You make a trailing stop or something like that, and you're good to go. So that one is at the top. No good. No bueno. No bueno. All right, that volume is this candle here. The volume is lower than the 6 period moving average. All right. So I'm just trying to think, because the way I did it, the way I ran my code yesterday, which was my first time doing that, I kind of set it up in a kind of sequential fashion such that I could superimpose some ideas on top of this current script, and it would give me an idea of what's going on, instead of completely adding a condition and then it wiping the screen and I really can't tell how many it worked for and how many it didn't work for. If you were on the stream, then you know what I'm talking about. So that one there. Again, that one did have pullback too, though. When you zoom in on it. That one is under the 6-period moving average for the volume as well. Okay, and that one is right around it. That one is no good. It's over the 200-period moving average. Let's see. Slope of the 200-period moving average is sloping up there. It's sloping up here. It is sloping kind of down, trying to go sideways, but it hadn't got sideways yet. But it was on its way right there. And then here it is sloping up. So again, we're going to lose some in this war, but this one is $200-period moving averages continue to move down, and there are trades to take along here, but I mean, that one was great. Range is less than range 7. It crosses over here. Or maybe we should say, after it crosses, and this is what I did yesterday. I made one of the conditions a starting point for the following conditions. So we could say that once it crosses, that's the starting point to then look for the next pieces, right? So the crossing can be the starting point for us to then look for the pullback, which would be looking for a lower low with lower volume. The next lowest low. Or a lower low. Look for continued lower lows and then the next highest low. It would wipe this one out because I would look for a lower low and then I look for a higher low. But by the time this bar closes, because that's the only way that you can get a low that's complete, is if the bar closes. But by the time this bar closes, now let's say this is a long bullish bar, so this one would just get wiped out altogether. So let me see if I can make that work. So in this one, what I'd be saying essentially would be that now we're looking for a low, and then the next highest low. And if that's also a red candle, a bearish candle, then we take it. So I kind of like that. How would I do that? I need to put all this back in this other format. So we're gonna do this. We could do, I think we could do this. If condition 1 equals, and I think we can do this. We can just leave those there, and then we'll just say and then we'll come down and we'll say and and then we'll come down and we'll say then, because now we're starting our sequence of what we want to look for, then begin so we need to figure out how to code the logic that says that you want to find the next highest low. Then begin condition 4 equals, then begin if low is higher than the low before it. Yeah, I think okay, then begin count. Then begin count plus equals 1. Okay, and then we'll say then we'll just count equals 1. Okay, all right, and then we'll say if count is greater than or equal to 1 on the subsequent bars. I'm gonna say if count is greater than or equal to 1 and count is less than 6, because we don't want to get too many bars away, because this is our potential entry signal. We don't want to get too many bars away from it before, because if we get too many bars away from our potential entry signal, then now it's not a good entry anymore. Something else should be an entry. Okay, so we want to be fairly close to this entry signal, and we're going to say 5 bars. Count 1 is greater than or equal to 1, and count is less than 5. Then and we have a low that is higher than the low before it. We can just start there. That's fairly simple. It doesn't really take into account that, we really should say something that we have a lower low first. Okay, and low is greater than the low before it, and the low before it is less than the low before that. And the low before it is less than the low of 2 bars ago. At least. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, if that, then condition 4 equals true. Okay. I'm gonna say if that, then we're gonna plot. Plot 4 equals low. You don't like me, do you? Huh? You don't like me very much, do you? All right, because that worked. All right, so the count, that starts to count. Let me see. Count. I know that we need to reset the count, but I don't think we should have to. Yes, we should, because we didn't reset it. Okay, so, well, if we get this crossed, then we're going to start the count at 0. Then count equals 0, because that's ground 1. And then we'll check. Let's see. We got to do it in order now because we want to check to see. We'll check to see first. Okay. And then if these criteria are met, we're going to start the counting at 0. We're going to plus equals 1. It's going to get really complicated here. Now, if the count does so happen to equal 1, then we're going to start I can see how that wouldn't work. If count equals 1, then we're going to add 1 to it every time. If count is greater than or equal to 1, then we're going to add 1 to it every time. Greater than 1, then count plus equals 1. Okay. And then we're going to check for this. If count is greater than or equal to 1 and count is less than 5, then we're going to do that. Yep. All right. Count equals 1, because once we get this, we're going to restart the count at 1. So that makes sense. All right. Makes sense in theory. Let's do this. Let's see if we still have anything, or did we mess something up? Then begin. We're going to begin plot 4 of low, and then we're going to do the count, and then we're going to end it. Okay, right. So something didn't work out when we did this part. If condition 1 equals, so we just need to take the conditions out. If the time and that and that. All right, then begin. All right, there we go. Okay. That's the bars we want, right? So this was the first bar that we wanted. So we can take this out. We can take out the plot. We'll just plot it as a different color. We'll plot it as red. Plot 4. Plot 5. Plot 5. Low. We're going to do this one as, I don't know, what was that? Aqua? Just blue? Okay. All right, so this is the first one that we saw when we got the cross of the 15 over the 25 period moving average that came in here. And then we said that we want to get a lower, we want to get a lower low and then a higher low. And that higher low has to have has to be a bearish candle or have a small size being a bullish candle. So same thing here. We got the 15 crossing over the 25, right? Cross happened here. And then we first found our lower low. Then we got another lower low, which is fine. And then we got a higher low. So then you take that entry, take it up to the top. Take it up to the top. All right, and then if you were to do it here, I mean, there was a lot more room on this one. Let's see what it looks like for the rest of the chart. Is that something tradable in there? Yeah. Okay, so we got the cross here. It's a minimal cross, so I think there probably needs to be another condition or piece of criteria to the logic as well that says that the cross has to be somehow substantial, right? It needs to be somewhat of a cross. The degree of the cross or the angular velocity of the cross or something has to be to a certain degree, because this is not like crossing. This is like, shimmering, right? Shimmering. All right, so you do have it here, and then you've got your entry there. You know, I mean, either way, you got a nice move up there. So 3 times I see that this has already worked. All right, what is this one? This one worked as well. So there's your cross, there's your drop, there's your higher low, and then your entry. I mean, your take profit. I mean, okay, this time we got the cross, but we did not get the criteria that was met for the entry, because we said that that next bar had to be a small bullish candle or a bearish candle. So we did get the lower lows, and we got a higher low, but we didn't get a small candle on this low. So it didn't register there. All right, this time it did not work. Here's the cross. And that looks like a doji candle. I mean, like a real baby doji candle. Huh. With the top wick. No good. No bueno. I mean, we can code that out. If that's the only one that we see that's getting in the way of our success, we can code that one out. This one didn't meet the qualifications for it. This one didn't throw us a entry, and I'm okay with not getting entries. I just want to find great signals. All right, so these didn't work either. Look how high that is up the supply chain, though. I mean, this was our cross. This was our lower low. I'm pretty sure that I said that it had to have another lower low before this. Well, I guess technically that is the one. But I do need to change that, because there needs to be at least, based on what I was trying to put in there, there should be at least one more bar in here. There should be the signal bar, a lower low, so this one, and then another lower low, and then that higher low. So there should be the signal bar, which that would be count 1. There should be this bar, 2 bars. Let's see. We count 1, 2, 3, and then it can be 4 or greater. So count would have to be 4 or greater. Count is greater than or equal to 1, and so let's say if the count is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, good. So I got rid of those 2 because there's not enough bars in here for that. Plus, this bar is way too high up, past that bullish candle. So I probably need to code that out anyway, but all right, so here we got one, but it didn't work, or at least you would have had to take the ride down to resistance. So, and then there was a cross. It's crossing down though. There was a cross. That one would have worked. I mean, I see it working more times than it didn't work. There was a cross, but it didn't give you the entry signal. There was a cross, it didn't give you the entry signal either. and definitely not giving you something every day either. There's cross, it didn't give you the entry signal. So same way with that one. So let's try this. Let's see. That's 50 days. Over 50 days, we want to count. Can we count how many times it produced the signal? Let's see. If count is greater than 50 and lower than that, then plot 5. Then we're going to then begin count signal, count S. Then begin count S plus equal to 1. That plot and end. And then if can we do that here? If last bar on chart, then once print count S. So if it's the last bar on the chart, after it's done running all its computations for the entire chart, then it's going to just one time is going to print what count S is. So how many times we found that blue bar. And we're going to open up the print log. 11 times. So over 50 days, it found it 11 times. I mean, there's one. I mean, and I don't know how many times it was. I mean, we saw at least 4 times where it worked. That first time it worked too. Looked like those times you could have got a little something off of it. That one, yeah, those are a couple times we saw. So I don't know. I definitely feels like it's a better than 50% chance. This is the one time that it didn't work. That one it did work. So again, 11 times over 50 days. It's not a lot of trading opportunities, but again, if you can make the most of it, if you can be somehow leverage or make it work, that those 11 times once a week you can make bank. Maybe. So anyway, I'm gonna keep coding. I'm gonna keep trying to come up with hey, what's up, stocks master? Man, I'm sorry, man. I'll get to talking, and I'm so sorry. I get to talking, and I'll miss everything. But yeah, I've had a pretty good time on here tonight. So I've got a little bit more to do, and then I'll be off. But if you do hop back on, be sure to catch me on the next live, and I'll try to make sure that I have my my chatting chart up here. But I can talk to a brick wall, man, for at least 24 hours straight. So, if I miss you in the chat, then it wasn't my heart, it was the head. You know what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying. So but so today we pretty much just looked at the potential strategy, looking at the 15 crossing over the 25 period moving average, and seeing if we can find some logic that helps make that a better entry signal. And we did come up with something, and essentially here we said that something has to be that we're looking at this during market hours, so between 9:35 and 15:50, and that, what were the other criteria? That we do want to see at least 3 or 4 candles thereafter, at least two lows, lower lows, and then a higher low. And that higher low will be our entry candle, but that higher low needs to have a smaller range, preferably be a bearish candle. And if it's a bullish candle, then it needs to be a lower range bullish candle. By lower, I mean lower than the average of the past 7 candles. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it was pretty simple. So, yeah. If you got any questions or concerns, comments, be sure to add them in the chat, and I'll do a better job next time about getting with you. But again, guys, have fun. It's been hour and a half, 2 hours. I got to do better. I have so much fun doing this coding stuff. But what did I learn today? I know I learned something new today. Oh, We didn't go over it, but I did figure out the whole timer situation. But with you guys on screen, what did I learn today? We learned about the horizontal line. So the horizontal line only needs 1 point, but it references the entire screen. It doesn't give you an option for turning off the extension on the right or left side. It doesn't give you a begin date or anything like that. You can adjust the color codes for it based on criteria. But when it comes to like technical analysis and being able to look back through your chart and that kind of thing, it's not as useful as using a trend line. So we talked about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the boat on this timer, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. And I actually, I'll be able to go over that with you in real time. So there's two things I want to try in real time that allows us to see how the stopwatch works, the stopwatch and the timer. But guys, it's been real. It's been real. Okay, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.